Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be episode 184 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of this week's episode. I'll be sharing my thoughts and my assessment on the Kansas City Chiefs' entire season thus far. Will luck run out for the two-time reigning defending Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs? So to me, even though the Kansas City Chiefs are 11-1, I think luck could be running out for the two-time back-to-back Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they are 11-1. They are the best team in the AFC. They are tied for the best record in the National Football League with the Detroit Lions. But in my opinion, the Chiefs might be one of, if not the worst, 11-1 team in NFL history. They only have one dominant victory this whole entire season. That came against a very bad New Orleans Saints team in October on Monday Night Football, where they won that game by 13 points. The way how the Kansas City Chiefs are playing, I'm not sure if the 3P happens because they don't have a real identity on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is holding up its bargain, but how much can the defense hold its own before bad things happen for this Kansas City Chiefs, the entire team? So they have a plus 54 in point differential. That is the worst from an 11-1 team in NFL history. The Kansas City Chiefs have been running on luck and been graced by the football gods a lot this NFL season. Look at the first game against the Ravens, where Isaiah Likely and the last sequences of the game, if he just had 2 feet in bounds, that game could have went in overtime. That could have went either way. They've been bailed out by the refs several times, and especially in that Cincinnati Bengals victory. They had the blocked field goal against the Denver Broncos, the team that should have ended the Kansas City Chiefs' undefeated season. You look at the luck that they just had on Black Friday against the Las Vegas Raiders, where the center wasn't even supposed to snap the ball, and Aiden O'Connell couldn't recover fast enough because he wasn't even set to get the ball. If that doesn't happen, the Raiders beat them, a 2-9 team, now 2-10 team. The Raiders beat them at home. This is not a good look for the Kansas City Chiefs. And at this point, this late in the season, the Kansas City Chiefs being 11-1, they can't be on the ropes battling against teams like Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers or the Las Vegas Raiders, two bad teams, two in the conversation of being the worst teams in the National Football League, the Raiders especially, being 2-9, now 2-10. I don't care if that's a divisional matchup or not. You can't be struggling against a 2-9 team at home at this point in the NFL season. And the same with Bryce Young. Bryce Young is still trying to figure himself out, prove that the Carolina Panthers that he still is the franchise quarterback. And I get it. Any given Sunday, any team can win. But as I digress, you cannot, at this point, you should be blowing out this team, sending a message to the other top-tier teams in the AFC, let alone the entire NFL, because the playoffs are right around the corner. And you're sitting here having game-winning drives against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. You're sitting here getting graced by the football gods to beat a 2-9 team at home, just squeak by a divisional victory. I'm not buying this from this Kansas City Chiefs team. So, once again, one dominant victory, and that came against the Saints. I don't know. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due because they are 11-1, and it's hard to win any game on a weekly basis in the National Football League. But this is not the same Kansas City Chiefs dominant team that we've seen in years past. Right now, they still don't have an identity on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not seeing dominant play by players like Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce doesn't look like the same tight end. Even acquiring DeAndre Hopkins has helped just a tad bit, but even DeAndre Hopkins ain't playing at that level that we thought he would play with, being a part of that Kansas City Chiefs offense. So Xavier Worthy is still trying to find his footing. He's a good gadget player with a lot of speed right now, but he's not really a difference maker of helping the Chiefs be 11-1 right now. I know they just got Isaiah Pacheco back in the running game to play with Kareem Hunt, but the defense can only hold its own for so long until eventually they got to find their identity on the offensive side of the ball again, because if you're just banking on your defense to get defensive stops with this team looking not the best, I would say in middle of the pack offensively, is that really going to be enough to get you to the three-peat, to be the first team in NFL history to three-peat? And by the looks of it right now, I'm going to say I don't see this happening. Unless they have some dramatic changes to close out the season. We still got a month of football left. But nothing to me right now is screaming a three-peat. 11-1 being one of the worst point differential teams in NFL history, that means something. So regular season wise, this team ain't it, but and that's in the back of my head again. Patrick Mahomes is 15-3 in the playoffs, 3 Super Bowl rings, 5 straight AFC Championship appearances. You got to keep that in consideration for the three-peat. But I will say now, if this team were to creep into the playoffs the way they're playing, I just don't see it. Because, yeah, you might get to the AFC Championship with the way how the Ravens are playing, the Texans are playing, and you might have to play, depending on the seeding, you might have to play the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Yes, let's say you get past Josh Allen. The way you're playing, can you really say that you're good enough in a Super Bowl matchup to beat a Detroit Lions team that could get healthy as the following weeks go on? Or a red-hot, dangerous Philadelphia Eagles team? I don't know. So I'm going to say no on the three-peat right now. We're going to see if luck runs out for the Kansas City Chiefs, but that is my assessment on the two-time reigning defending Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs.